Hey folks, Dave the Not So Evil Viking 13 here, returning to Fallout 4 as General Dave for one last Let's Build episode with you guys here at my Kingsport Lighthouse build. Again, if you guys aren't familiar with how these work, I'm keeping a lot of the sections of this build a secret until the final tour, but today we're going to do a bit of work on the outside of the lighthouse to make it look like it's under construction and being rebuilt by the Minutemen. I also have just a couple of some custom textures that I've been working on to share with you guys. Before we continue digging into the build for this episode, let's give a shout out to Go90, who is sponsoring this portion of the video to give you a quick look at some of the content now available at go90.com and the Go90 mobile app. You can check it all out there now. But first, here's a trailer of some of what's available.
I want you to take everything that's ever scared you or made you question your beliefs in the universe and put those in a little box labeled things I used to believe.
You can stream every episode of Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles for free on Go90.com and through the Go90 mobile app. Check out the link in the description for more information. Last episode, we worked on this pre-war admin building, which I described as some kind of perhaps military or museum structure that was built before the war to complement the lighthouse. I just wanted to show you guys, as I've updated some mods and then also done some custom textures for them, a sign that I've created to really reinforce the role of this building before the war and to make it feel like I didn't just build it like you guys saw me build it here for the build. And there you guys have it. I have created a custom Civil Defense Watch Post sign to go on the side of the building here. I just need to figure out the best way to do it. And then I'll give it a quick base of some brick as well. Let's rescale that up 2 units and then place it underneath our sign. And there you guys have it. This is again just one of the number of custom textures that I am working on to help complement this build. This structure will definitely be reinforced in the final tour as that civil defense location that the Minutemen have converted into a barracks for our naval personnel. There goes one of them right now. Like I mentioned back at the start, I'm going to be working on the outside of the lighthouse here at Kingsport, which is, as you might imagine, pretty much the central part of the build. Now, I can't give away what's inside of it. That's going to have to wait until the final tour. But leading up to the tour, today, we're going to add some more scaffolding and construction materials. The goal being to make the lighthouse look like it's actually being restored. You can't see it here, but at night, the lighthouse is actually functional now thanks to a mod. Before we start heading up the side of it though, I'm going to remove this last chunk of Covenant walls. I'm trying to remove almost all of these that I've placed because I'm getting kind of tired of using them. They don't really fit. They look too new. These nice fancy Covenant concrete walls. Instead, I'm going to use these retaining walls that at least look like they're using some rougher stones that the Minutemen could have actually placed. As a part of this, I'm looking at the possibility of taking these stone walls right here and from there making my own modded version of those walls. I would then add them to my Minutemen morale mod along with some of my newer posters that are still missing from the new versions of my latest settlement builds that you guys don't have access to yet. But yeah, I'd like to prototype some kind of combination of these walls right here and see if I could add a few things to them, some barbed wire perhaps, occasional wooden supports, and come up with something that I could use for almost all of my future settlement builds where I'm not using the wooden junk walls. I'd like to have some kind of heavier concrete wall that again is not just the Covenant wall. For today though, let's just prototype a bit with what's already here thanks to, I believe it's the Homemaker mod that adds in these retaining walls. So I'm going to add those down as the base, and then under miscellaneous barriers, let's add some kind of barbed wire across the top. I think would really help bring it home. I could even have some that have sandbags if I do turn it into a mod at some point in the future. Or I could use wrought iron fences too. That's kind of cool. Have them stuck in the top there. That gives them a unique look. I think for any modded versions, I would actually make them, as far as the modeling goes, with some just traditional barbed wire across the top. Something like this, perhaps. For now, though, it's time to get climbing with our scaffolding. Is that light added? That's interesting. I can actually scrap that somehow. Scaffolding and floors. I'm just going to go up with a couple of these pieces like this to start out. So you guys can see I already had some of the scaffolding in place. Let's go up with this piece too. Will that snap? Yes, yes it will. Okay, cool. And then can I even reach all the way up there? I don't think I can. I think it's time for some of the stair pieces. What do we have here? Stairs. It's a nice narrow piece right here. That gets us up. I'm considering wrapping some scaffolding around the structure. And if we go up it, we can figure out where the actual floor piece needs to go. Or I could also look at having some framework that is perhaps supported from underneath. Let's try that. No, I don't think the framework looks good hanging over the dockyard area. Let's just do the straight up floors, and I'll put some supports under them manually. So let's add a thin railed stair for this side. And we'll keep on going around. Gotta figure out how these supports are gonna work though. I want to see where the stairs are going to come out over here. So yeah, we have a few options. We can go slightly down with a ramp, which I think would look cool. Let's see where that would come up. Let's make a save here.
Damn fog's got my
Is the lighthouse lit up yet? Let's see. Yes, there it is. So we could also, thanks to the extruding piece back here, have a staircase that goes up. Which again adds to the visual interest of the lighthouse. Really makes it look like the Minutemen are hard at work keeping it repaired so it doesn't topple over after all of this time. Whew. Getting awfully rickety, guys. Up! Alright, my heart actually skipped a beat there. I fell off the edge. As you guys can see, I build with my actual settlement supplies, no god mode, so it's kind of just sinking in that, that's not a shit pun, by the way. It's just sinking in. If I fall, I am going to die at this point. I might use no clip to fly around a bit and work on this, just so I don't fall and lose a bunch of work. I do occasionally use no clip and free camera to get angles on things so I can see what I'm doing. But yeah, again, I don't use god mode or anything. Working on going through my actual supply of wood here, which I did manage to stock up quite a bit last time, thankfully. Those with a fear of heights need not apply. That'll get us up to this window right here, which needs to be boarded up to hide what's inside. I think before I go any further, let's go ahead and take care of that. Let me go to my wooden miscellaneous category. Let's just use that big old door barricade right there, and I'll shrink it down so you guys don't get to see what's inside until the tour. Cool. Let's see, let's do a section of 2. Maybe just 1. Do it like that, and then like that. Now for the railings, turn snapping back on. I'm going to put a few of these down. You guys know how I add some detail. We're going to turn on the X-axis rotation. We're going to rotate these, get them into place a little bit closer, make them look just a little bit ramshackle. Like someone's almost toppled over right there. Oop, now that's flying into space. There we go. Not all of them, just a couple here and there. Okay. What would make the scaffolding feel like a real workspace? I think the answer to that is a couple of lights along the way. I don't want to distract from the lighthouse itself, so I'm not going to place a whole lot of these. I think perhaps one of these work lights up here on the scaffolding. Maybe on one of the deck pieces down below. Okay, really glad that I have those railings at this point. Turn on surface snapping and get it into place here. These cast shadows, so they're a bit expensive as far as FPS goes. Will it reach down here?
Something doing that.
That hurt me a little bit, but okay. So that should have power now. As I go back up, I'm going to go to my miscellaneous lights category and place a couple of these lanterns along the way, which the Minutemen would be using to make some basic repairs and stuff like that. Seeing now that this wall piece is not quite aligned. I'll fix that by hand. There we go. Well, I fell off finally. Thankfully I was at the bottom. Let's go back into workshop mode after I make a quick save. I feel like I really am pushing it. I'm gonna die at some point if I'm not careful. Got lots of stairs here, so I'll put a lantern there. There's our work light. Well, working. So no lamps for here. I will put some lanterns here at this dangerous point. And perhaps let's turn off surface snapping if we can. Let's put one on the edge here. Actually, no, I know where I can get one that will work even better. G2M Workshop, Coast Construction. I'm going to get one of these hooks, and I'm going to hang a lantern off of the actual railing here, just to break things up so we're not repeating details too often. Turn snapping back on. And there we have a nice swinging lantern.
Keep an eye on that water.
So let's take a look at what we've got now. Now that it's nighttime, we can get a good idea. So there is the functioning Kingsport Lighthouse. with a bunch of work scaffolding around the edges. What we've got to do now, guys, is get
Always felt
the
right
supports
at
under it to make it look authentic. And then we're going to add some details like some work equipment and stuff like that. I am going to turn off collision and just fly around for a minute to place the supports. I do this rarely, but the amount of time it would take me to do Minecraft style construction where I built a platform to get under each one of these things, I've done it before where I do it all, you know, Minecraft style, where you're actually doing all that and climbing around. But seeing I'm doing a recording and building this with you guys, let's not overly complicate things. We do have these G2M Workshop coast pillars, which would not be my first choice for supporting a platform system like this, but it's something different that I haven't used before, and if we rotate them just right, it could look kind of cool, guys. So let's see. Let's add a few and see how it looks. This one I'm going to rotate further. Do have to toggle collision on and off to be able to use it again. So that could be a little bit annoying. I might use these with a few other parts, but it doesn't strike me as a great fit for making this look real. I'm just going to place a couple of them here. So that scaffolding's okay. It's really these sections over here that need the most help. Let's look under the wood category because I think I have some miscellaneous stuff that would fit as well. Make good supports. Well, there you have it right there, balcony supports. I'll turn snapping off because these are going to be floating a bit more than they were designed for. These actually need to be tilted quite a bit as well. So I probably won't use too many of them. They do add a nice amount of clutter though. So I'll use some down here as well. Oop, grabbed the wrong thing there. They do look pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, I'm going to keep using them. Even having to put them into position by hand. They fit the theme quite nicely. Adding that junky, rough construction look to the side of the lighthouse. I think I've got some larger, straight, triangular style struts under my wooden walls category. I think they came from a DD Productions mod set back in 2015, I think. Let's see. You know, a couple of these balconies might make for some cool additions. This just struck me as I was going by. Can make it look like got some additional pieces hanging off the side. Oh yeah, that's very cool. So these would also make some decent guard towers. Just want to make sure that I can actually walk through there still. That looks very doable right there. Now we're talking. What else do we have here? Not bad. It's looking pretty junky. Pretty imposing, too. I'm sure those support struts are in here somewhere. Aha! Found them. These are pretty good sized. And they should snap mostly to the walls. So, you can place them like that. This one needs a big one. Look at that monstrosity. Put a few smaller ones down here to support the G2M style struts. That is looking so awesome, guys. Just what I was imagining. Minutemen building all kinds of supports and framework to keep that lighthouse lit as a beacon for everyone looking to travel to the Commonwealth. While I'm flying, I'm going to add a few more sections onto the side here. Turn off snapping. This is just to add to that structural support look. Something that goes out to the scaffolding, and then a sheet metal piece right here. I'm going to add a couple of sheet metal pieces as well, which will work as some additional Minutemen construction. I think some sheet metal and concrete pieces would really help sell that maintenance feeling. Let's look under metal walls. Just add some bracing pieces here and there. Like that. And that. If we have some thicker ones, yeah, like this, it'd be really cool to have them down at the bottom, almost as shielding for the outside of the lighthouse to repel grenade or rocket attacks, for example, on the base of the structure. Alright guys, it's almost morning. I've added quite a bit of scrap metal and supports onto the side of the structure. I think we're going to fast forward just a little bit until it's daylight so we can see a bit more of what we're working with as we add our last few details for the scaffolding on the side of the lighthouse. I'm just going to add these last couple metal pieces. Then General Dave will take a rest and we should get some daylight back on hand here. It is daylight at last, and that is some seriously imposing construction up the side of the lighthouse right there. Let's go into free cam so you guys can see. Oop, not into the ground preferably. That's what the outside of the lighthouse looks like. This settlement is getting ridiculously detailed. I love the armored look it gives the restored lighthouse. So what does that leave as far as detailing goes? Well, as you guys know, if you've been around for a while, I always do a detailing pass on my own before the final settlement tours. For you guys though, I'm going to add just a couple of what's called greebles, which are mostly junk objects that don't serve a real purpose besides decoration. And also a couple of props from Homemaker as well. I'm just going to focus on the greebles and see if we have any kind of cool machinery or stuff that would really help to sell, again, that under construction feel. go back to flying again. Add some crazy looking pipes on the outside of this thing. Make you wonder, like, what on earth is going on in there? Got some crazy looking pipes there. Oh, here we go, a loudspeaker. That's what I'm talking about. Wow, I just sounded super excited about a loudspeaker, guys. Yeah, it makes sense though. Like, in case of an attack, you've got sirens that can go off. In fact, I might move my siren from down on the ground to up here on the platform. Let's say I can find a place for it. Yeah, let's say over here. And I'll fix the power lines for that later. Precarious, but I think it works. This crazy big pipe thing. It's actually too big. Food paste machine. Ooh, Grebe Tower. That could be a cool addition. Up the side here, although you'd be able to climb it. Let's add it down here. As just some additional crazy looking ironworks for the side of the structure. Just to give it some visual interest. Got the Hancock antenna. Industrial greeble. This could make sense as we're restoring power to the entire structure. Big old transformer unit. We'll put that up here on the scaffolding, like it's being used to help with that power restoration. Don't need any of the big industrial machines. Ooh, this big industrial crane though. I do like the looks of that. I think if I combine it with one of the other crane decorations, that could look really cool. Got a hanging red light, some miscellaneous pieces, a metal grate. These can help add some construction detailing to the scaffolding. That's a gigantic fan. Engine. There's the crane I'm looking for. Oh, it's got too much stuff attached to it. Let's see. Do we have any other cranes? Where was that other crane? Water tower. Don't want to rival the lighthouse as far as height goes. I'll leave it be. Turbine shell. Painting ship huge. Bits of pipe. From the Pridwen, I believe. Coffin, rail bits. Water tower, radio tower. Railroad scanner. Bomb crate, consoles. Steam pipe. Again, we're just adding little bits of visual interest to make the scaffolding look like it's really being used here, guys. If I can just find where that crane might be, I think that's going to do it as far as major decorations go for the scaffolding down the side. Here we go, guys. One of the cranes right here should do it. Gonna add it up here at the top of the lighthouse. And then find a way that it won't be in the way. Then under concrete, we'll take a concrete floor piece like this, and then some wall blocks like this one. Figure out what height they need to be. And now we finally have what I was going for, which is a cool looking, a bit evil looking industrial crane thing going on here to support the construction and repair of the old lighthouse. Now it looks like the weight here really wouldn't work, so let me scale it down a few more times so that piece is kind of out of the way, or in the way, that is. There we go. It's like a claw machine for construction. Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it as far as the overall rickety-ing, if that's a way to describe it, of the lighthouse, where I've made it look more rickety and like it has actually survived a nuclear apocalypse, and the Minutemen are making it one of their coastal outlooks here at Kingsport Lighthouse. Hope you guys have enjoyed the build. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, but probably not on this build series because the build is almost done, and it's almost time for a tour where you guys are going to get to see all of it. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.